What is stream of consciousness writing? Hi, I hope you are doing well. Today, as usual, you will join your Motivation University with the usual intimacy. Today we are talking about stream of consciousness writing. We hope to reveal many very important and wonderful facts about stream of consciousness writing in this video. We invite you to stay with your Motivation University until the last few seconds of this special video. When you engage in stream of consciousness writing, you're embarking on a profound journey into the depths of your mind, a journey that can lead to remarkable self-discovery, enhanced self-awareness, a stronger sense of identity, and ultimately deeper motivation for personal growth. This writing technique serves as a powerful gateway to the unfiltered workings of your consciousness, allowing thoughts, emotions, and sensations to flow freely onto the page without the constraints of traditional structure or judgment. By capturing the raw, unedited stream of your thinking process, you gain unprecedented access to aspects of yourself that might otherwise remain hidden beneath the surface of everyday awareness. Stream of consciousness writing stands as one of the most transformative reflective practices available for those seeking to understand themselves more deeply and live with greater authenticity and purpose. Stream of consciousness writing is a technique that allows you to capture your thoughts exactly as they occur in your mind, without filtering, organizing, or judging them. Unlike traditional writing methods that emphasize structure, grammar, and logical flow, this approach embraces the natural, often chaotic pattern of human thought. When you engage in stream of consciousness writing, you're essentially creating a written record of your mind's inner workings, complete with its tangents, associations, repetitions, and unexpected connections. The term stream of consciousness was coined by psychologist William James in the late 19th century to describe the continuous flow of thoughts and perceptions in the human mind. This concept was later adopted by modernist writers like Virginia Woolf, James Joyce, and William Faulkner, who used it as a literary device to portray characters' inner experiences more authentically. What began as a narrative technique in literature has evolved into a powerful tool for personal development and self-discovery that you can readily apply in your own life. What sets stream of consciousness writing apart from other reflective practices is its emphasis on unrestricted expression. When you write in this style, you're not trying to create a coherent narrative or arrive at logical conclusions. Instead, you're giving yourself permission to follow your thoughts wherever they lead, without concern for how they might appear to others or even to yourself. This lack of structure is precisely what makes the technique so valuable. It bypasses your conscious mind's tendency to censor and control, allowing deeper truths to emerge. From a psychological perspective, stream of consciousness writing works by temporarily quieting your brain's executive function, the part responsible for planning, organizing, and self-monitoring. This creates space for your default mode network, associated with introspection and self-referential thinking, to express itself more fully. When you write without pausing to edit or reflect, you're essentially creating a direct channel from your consciousness to the page, revealing patterns of thought and emotional responses that might not be accessible through more structured forms of reflection. Beginning your practice of stream of consciousness writing requires creating the right environment, both physically and mentally. Find a quiet, comfortable space where you won't be interrupted for at least 15-20 minutes. This sacred space should feel safe and private, allowing you to express yourself without fear of judgment or intrusion. Some people prefer writing in the early morning when the mind is still fresh from sleep and less cluttered with the day's concerns, while others find that evening sessions help process accumulated thoughts and experiences. Experiment to discover what timing works best for your unique rhythms. To start the actual writing process, you'll need just a few simple tools: a notebook and pen if you prefer handwriting, or a computer if typing feels more natural to you. Many practitioners recommend handwriting for its more immediate connection to the body and its slower pace, which can better match the flow of thoughts. However, if typing allows you to keep up with your thinking speed more effectively, that's perfectly valid too. Whatever medium you choose, the most important thing is that it feels comfortable and unobtrusive, allowing your attention to remain on the thoughts themselves rather than the mechanics of recording them. As you begin, set a clear intention to write continuously for your chosen duration without stopping, editing, or judging what emerges. You might start with a simple prompt, a single word, question, or observation, or simply begin with whatever thought is most present in your mind. The key instruction is to keep your hand moving across the page or your fingers on the keyboard. When you feel stuck, simply write, "I don't know what to write," or "My mind is blank," until new thoughts arise. Don't worry about repetition, grammar, spelling, or even making sense. These concerns only serve to interrupt the authentic flow of your consciousness. You may encounter initial challenges as you adapt to this unfamiliar way of writing. Your inner critic might become loud, questioning the value of what you're producing or feeling embarrassed by certain thoughts. You might find yourself slipping into more controlled, narrative writing out of habit. When you notice these tendencies, gently acknowledge them and return to the raw flow of thoughts. Remember that in stream of consciousness writing, there are no mistakes. Even the awareness of your resistance becomes valuable material for self-discovery. With practice, you'll find it progressively easier to surrender to the process, allowing your writing to become a true reflection of your mind's natural movements. When you engage in stream of consciousness writing regularly, you create a unique opportunity to uncover hidden aspects of your thoughts and emotions that typically remain below the threshold of awareness. Your conscious mind tends to present you with carefully filtered and organized information, but beneath this curated experience lies a rich landscape of unacknowledged feelings, forgotten memories, unexpected connections, and unexamined beliefs. Through the unstructured nature of stream of consciousness writing, you can bypass your mind's habitual censorship mechanisms and access this deeper material, often discovering surprising truths about yourself that wouldn't emerge through more controlled forms of reflection. One of the most powerful aspects of this practice is its ability to help you break through mental barriers that may be limiting your growth. Perhaps you've been experiencing creative blocks, decision paralysis, or persistent negative thought patterns. The continuous movement of stream of consciousness writing creates momentum that can carry you beyond these obstacles. When you commit to writing without stopping, you eventually exhaust your surface thoughts and prepared narratives, forcing your mind to generate fresh material. This often leads to unexpected insights and novel perspectives that can help you see challenges in a completely new light. Through stream of consciousness writing, you gain unprecedented access to your subconscious mind, the vast repository of memories, associations, and processing that operates below your awareness, yet profoundly influences your perceptions and behaviors. Psychologists estimate that the conscious mind represents only a tiny fraction of total mental activity, with the subconscious handling the majority of information processing. By writing without conscious direction, you create conditions where subconscious material can rise to the surface, often appearing as seemingly random thoughts, vivid images, or strong emotional resonances. These emergent elements frequently contain valuable wisdom about your true needs, desires, and challenges that your conscious mind has been unable to recognize or articulate. Perhaps most importantly, stream of consciousness writing provides a safe container for processing difficult experiences and emotions. When you face challenging situations or painful feelings, your natural tendency might be to avoid direct engagement with them through distraction, rationalization, or suppression. However, unprocessed emotional material doesn't simply disappear. It continues to influence your well-being and behavior from the shadows. The open, non-judgmental space of stream of consciousness writing allows you to approach these difficult areas gradually and on your own terms. As you express painful thoughts and feelings on the page, you often experience a sense of release and clarity, transforming overwhelming emotional experiences into manageable narratives that you can integrate into your broader understanding of yourself. Through regular stream of consciousness writing, you develop an increasingly nuanced awareness of your thought patterns, the habitual ways your mind processes information and constructs meaning. You might notice recurring themes, automatic negative thoughts, or specific triggers that consistently shape your internal experience. These patterns often operate invisibly, influencing your perceptions and reactions without your conscious awareness. By capturing your unfiltered thoughts on the page day after day, you begin to recognize these mental habits. This recognition is the first crucial step toward freedom. Once you can identify a pattern, you gain the ability to question its validity and consider alternative perspectives. The practice also substantially contributes to developing your emotional intelligence, your capacity to identify, understand, and manage your emotions effectively. Many people struggle with emotional awareness, having learned to suppress or ignore certain feelings, especially those deemed uncomfortable or inappropriate. Stream of consciousness writing creates a private space where all emotions are welcome and valid. As you allow yourself to express the full spectrum of your emotional experience without judgment, you become more adept at recognizing subtle emotional signals in your day-to-day life. This enhanced awareness enables you to respond to situations based on your authentic feelings rather than habitual reactions or social conditioning. Through the mirror of your unfiltered writing, you gain remarkable insight into your personal biases, the assumptions, preferences, and prejudices that color your perception of the world and others. These biases often remain invisible to us, operating beneath the level of conscious awareness while significantly influencing our judgments and decisions. The stream of consciousness approach, by capturing your immediate, unedited reactions, can reveal patterns of thinking that might surprise or even disturb you. Perhaps you consistently make unfounded assumptions about certain groups of people, or habitually interpret neutral situations in negative ways. Recognizing these tendencies doesn't mean you're a bad person. It's simply valuable information that allows you to align your actual thinking more closely with your conscious values. Perhaps most profoundly, continued practice of stream of consciousness writing leads to the discovery of your authentic values and beliefs, the principles and convictions that truly matter to you beyond social expectations or external pressures. Many people operate according to internalized values from parents, culture, or peer groups without examining whether these actually resonate with their deepest sense of self. As you write freely over time, patterns emerge revealing what consistently brings you genuine joy, purpose, and meaning, as opposed to what you pursue out of obligation or habit. This clarification of values serves as a crucial compass for making life choices that lead to greater fulfillment and authenticity. Stream of consciousness writing provides a unique canvas for exploring different aspects of your identity, the various roles, relationships, beliefs, and characteristics that contribute to your sense of self. Identity is rarely a simple, unified concept. Most people contain multitudes, different facets that emerge in different contexts or stages of life. Through unstructured writing, you can give voice to these various aspects of yourself, exploring how it feels to be a parent, a professional, a creative person, a friend, or any other dimension of your experience. This exploration allows you to develop a more complex and nuanced understanding of who you are beyond simplified labels or social categories. The practice can be particularly valuable for integrating fragmented self-perceptions. those aspects of yourself that feel disconnected or contradictory. Perhaps you see yourself as both ambitious and lazy, both compassionate and selfish, both confident and insecure. These apparent contradictions can create internal tension and confusion about your true nature. Stream of consciousness writing allows these seemingly opposing elements to express themselves fully on the page, often revealing that they're not actually contradictory, but rather different responses to different circumstances or different layers of the same quality. Through this process, you begin to develop a more integrated sense of self that accommodates complexity without fragmentation. Many people experience identity conflicts, situations where different aspects of who you are seem to pull you in opposing directions. Perhaps your professional identity demands behaviors that conflict with your values, or your cultural background includes expectations that clash with your personal aspirations. These conflicts can create significant distress when left unexamined. Through stream of consciousness writing, you can explore these tensions in depth, giving voice to each side of the conflict and allowing unexpected perspectives or solutions to emerge. The writing process doesn't necessarily resolve these conflicts immediately, but it creates space for a more nuanced understanding and often reveals creative compromises or integrations that weren't previously visible. Over time, stream of consciousness writing contributes to developing a coherent self-narrative, an evolving story that makes sense of your experiences and provides continuity to your sense of self across time and circumstances. Humans are natural storytellers, constantly interpreting and reinterpreting their experiences to create meaning. However, without conscious reflection, these narratives often develop haphazardly, incorporating limiting beliefs or distorted interpretations. The insight gained through stream of consciousness writing allows you to craft a more intentional self-narrative, one that acknowledges both your challenges and strengths, honors your past while remaining open to growth, and provides a framework for understanding yourself that feels both authentic and empowering. One of the most practical benefits of stream of consciousness writing is how it helps you clarify your personal goals by distinguishing between externally imposed expectations and your genuine desires. In the unfiltered flow of your writing, you might discover that certain objectives you've been pursuing don't actually resonate with your deeper values, while other potential directions emerge that feel surprisingly energizing. This clarity is essential for authentic motivation. When your goals align with your true interests and values, you naturally find more energy and persistence to pursue them, requiring less willpower and experiencing less internal resistance. Through this practice, you gain unprecedented access to your intrinsic motivations, the activities and pursuits that you find inherently rewarding, regardless of external recognition or rewards. Psychologists have consistently found that intrinsic motivation leads to greater persistence, creativity, and satisfaction than extrinsic motivation based on rewards or punishments. Your stream of consciousness writing often reveals what truly excites and engages you when you're not filtering your thoughts through practical considerations or others' expectations. You might discover passion for areas you've never seriously considered, or rediscover interests that you abandoned earlier in life due to practical pressures or discouragement. The insights gained through stream of consciousness writing enable you to align your daily actions more effectively with your authentic desires. Many people experience a disconnect between what they say they want and how they actually spend their time and energy. Your unfiltered writing often reveals these inconsistencies, showing where your stated goals conflict with deeper fears, conflicting values, or unacknowledged preferences. This awareness doesn't necessarily mean you should abandon your goals, but it allows you to address the underlying conflicts or modify your approach to create greater internal alignment. When your conscious intentions and subconscious motivations work together rather than against each other, you experience a remarkable increase in focus, energy, and follow-through. Perhaps most powerfully, the self-understanding developed through stream of consciousness writing builds psychological resilience, your capacity to recover from setbacks and persist through challenges. When you understand your thought patterns, emotional triggers, and core values, you become less vulnerable to the self-doubt and confusion that often follow difficulties. Rather than interpreting obstacles as evidence of personal inadequacy or questioning your entire direction, you can respond with greater perspective and flexibility. This resilience is crucial for sustained motivation, as virtually any meaningful pursuit involves periods of difficulty or apparent failure. The deep self-knowledge gained through stream of consciousness writing serves as an anchor during these challenging times, helping you maintain connection to your core purpose even when the path forward isn't immediately clear. Incorporating stream of consciousness writing into your daily routine can be transformative, and many practitioners find particular value in morning pages, 3 pages of longhand writing done first thing upon waking. This approach helps you clear mental clutter before the day begins, allowing you to start with greater clarity and presence. The morning mind, still close to the dreaming state and not yet fully engaged with daily concerns, often produces especially revealing material. By committing to this practice regardless of mood or inspiration, you create a consistent channel for self-discovery that gradually deepens your relationship with yourself and strengthens your creative muscles. Beyond scheduled sessions, stream of consciousness writing serves as a powerful tool for problem solving when you face specific challenges or decisions. When logical analysis leaves you stuck in circles or overwhelmed by complexity, shifting to the free-flowing stream of consciousness approach can unlock new perspectives. The next time you encounter a difficult situation at work, in relationships, or in creative projects, try setting aside 15 minutes for unstructured writing about the issue. Don't try to solve the problem directly. Simply allow all your thoughts and feelings about it to emerge without censorship. Often, solutions or new angles appear spontaneously as your writing bypasses the logical gridlock that was keeping you stuck. The practice can bring remarkable clarity to decision-making processes by helping you distinguish between authentic desires and socialized shoulds. Major life decisions around career changes, relationships, or lifestyle adjustments often involve complex mixtures of personal preferences, practical considerations, and social expectations. Through stream of consciousness writing, you can disentangle these different influences, gaining clarity about what you truly want versus what you think you should want. Pay particular attention to physical sensations and emotional responses that arise as you write about different options. These embodied reactions often contain wisdom about your deeper preferences that your rational mind hasn't yet recognized. Many creative professionals and artists use stream of consciousness writing as a source of inspiration and innovation. When you're facing creative blocks or feeling disconnected from your authentic voice, this approach can bypass your inner critic and connect you directly to your creative wellspring. The unfiltered flow often produces unexpected metaphors, unique perspectives, and original combinations of ideas that wouldn't emerge through more structured approaches. Even if you don't consider yourself creative in the traditional sense, this practice can enhance innovative thinking in any field by loosening rigid thought patterns and opening you to new possibilities. One of the most persistent challenges you'll likely face in stream of consciousness writing is managing your inner critic. That judgmental voice that questions the value of what you're writing, compares it unfavorably to others' work, or mocks your thoughts as trivial or embarrassing. This critical voice is a natural protective mechanism, but can severely restrict your self-expression and discovery if given too much authority. When you notice critical thoughts arising during your writing, simply acknowledge them without resistance and continue writing. Perhaps even writing about the criticism itself. Over time, this practice of acknowledging without obeying your inner critic gradually diminishes its power, creating more space for authentic expression. Stream of consciousness writing sometimes brings painful revelations into awareness, memories, emotions, or realizations that feel overwhelming or threatening to your current self-concept. When difficult material emerges, approach it with self-compassion, remembering that awareness is the first step toward healing. If certain topics consistently produce extreme distress, consider establishing boundaries around your practice. Perhaps setting an intention before writing to approach difficult areas gradually, or arranging support from a trusted friend or professional after potentially difficult sessions. Remember that the goal isn't to force confrontation with every painful aspect of your experience at once, but to create a sustainable practice of increasing self-awareness at a pace that feels manageable. You may encounter periods where you face blocks and resistance to your writing practice despite your conscious commitment. Perhaps you find yourself forgetting to write, creating distractions whenever you sit down with your notebook, or feeling unusually critical of the process. Rather than interpreting these blocks as failures, recognize them as valuable information about areas of potential growth or healing. Resistance often emerges precisely when you're approaching important insights or changes. During these periods, consider temporarily shortening your writing sessions, using more structured prompts, or bringing extra self-compassion to the process. Sometimes simply writing about the resistance itself, its quality, intensity, and possible origins can create a breakthrough. The ultimate challenge of any reflective practice lies in turning insights into action, bridging the gap between awareness and tangible change in your life. Stream of consciousness writing excels at generating insights, but doesn't automatically translate them into different behaviors or circumstances. To maximize its transformative potential, consider establishing a regular review process where you identify key themes and insights from your writing, then develop specific intentions or experiments based on what you've learned. Small, concrete steps based on your authentic discoveries are far more powerful than dramatic changes imposed through willpower alone. Remember that integration happens gradually. Each small choice aligned with your deeper understanding creates momentum toward a more authentic and fulfilling life. Stream of consciousness writing holds transformative potential that extends far beyond simple self-reflection. By creating regular, disciplined space for your unfiltered thoughts to express themselves, you initiate a profound dialogue with your own consciousness, a conversation that gradually reveals the deeper currents of your motivations, fears, desires, and wisdom. This practice doesn't provide instant solutions or dramatic revelations in every session, but rather works cumulatively, building a more nuanced and compassionate relationship with yourself over time. The simple act of witnessing your own mind without judgment creates subtle yet powerful shifts in how you experience yourself and engage with the world around you. The long-term benefits of this practice for your personal development are both wide-ranging and deeply integrated. As your self-awareness increases, you naturally make choices more aligned with your authentic values and desires, leading to greater fulfillment and reduced internal conflict. Your emotional intelligence grows, enabling more satisfying relationships and greater resilience during challenging times. Your creative thinking expands as you loosen rigid thought patterns and access more of your mind's natural associative power. Perhaps most importantly, you develop a more compassionate relationship with yourself, recognizing your thoughts and emotions as changing experiences rather than fixed definitions of who you are. As you contemplate beginning or deepening your own stream of consciousness writing practice, remember that the most important quality you can bring is not skill or knowledge, but simply willingness. Willingness to show up consistently, to write without knowing where it will lead, to face whatever emerges with curiosity rather than judgment. Start where you are, with whatever time you can reasonably commit, using whatever materials you have available, The practice itself will teach you what you need to know, revealing its gifts gradually as you continue to show up day after day. Your consciousness contains universes of unexplored territory. All you need to do is pick up your pen and begin the journey of discovery. If you haven't watched the mindfulness meditation for self-discovery video on the card on the right, I invite you to watch it too. If you haven't subscribed to us yet, please subscribe. If you like the video, please give it a like. Don't forget to share this video with others. We'll see you again tomorrow with a video like this. Until then, stay tuned with Your Motivation University. Have a nice day. Bye.